Welcome back to Garden Crafts, where we don't just recycle, we reimagine. If you've ever looked at a bottle and thought, this could become something magical, you're in the right place. Today's video takes you through 22 breathtaking ideas, from glowing bottle fireflies to cactus totems and fairy thrones. These aren't just crafts, they're stories told through color, texture, and imagination. Every idea is timestamped below, so feel free to skip ahead or dive deep. And if anything sparks joy or curiosity, drop a comment. I read them all. Subscribe if you love thoughtful DIYs, and maybe recreate one using only what you already have. You'll be amazed what's possible. In the quiet hush of morning, where sunlight filters gently through climbing vines, a forgotten ladder leans against a brick. It no longer reaches rooftops or shelves, but today it cradles something far more whimsical, a parade of smiling vegetables made from yesterday's bottles. Each step becomes a stage. A plump tomato with googly eyes grins from ear to ear. A carrot with wild yarn hair seems mid-laugh. The beet, ever shy, tilts its painted head toward the herbs. These aren't just decorations. They're characters in a garden tale. Crafted by hand, brushed with care, and given a voice by their expressions alone. Plastic soda bottles are trimmed and shaped, then painted in hues that feel almost too alive. Deep crimson, bright tangerine, earthy violet. With pipe cleaner arms raised and paper feet dangling, they seem to climb, not just a ladder, but toward the sun itself. As if they, too, dream of. Outstretched in light, are cut from old scraps of fabric or recycled paper, fastened to twigs or bamboo skewers like sails waiting for breeze. Tucked near the tomatoes, where rosemary runs low and bees hum gently past, a sentinel stands, not in rust or straw, but in painted plastic and repurposed charm. This is no ordinary scarecrow. He doesn't tower, doesn't flap in the wind, doesn't frighten anything away. Instead, he welcomes, with eyes made from washers, a smile of crooked caps, and a wooden crate chest filled with soil and sprouting life. If you follow the morning light along the fence line, just above the daisies, just beneath the zinnias, you might see a little parade taking shape. Not insects in a hurry, not pests, but smiling ladybugs, bright, bold, and beautifully handmade from bottles once forgotten in the recycling bin. Out here in the garden range, there's no need for boots or spurs. Just a fence, a few scraps, and a little bit of backyard spirit. Sitting proudly along the top rail are cowboys, not of wood or metal, but plastic bottles reborn in charm. Each one wears a hand-painted shirt, dusty blue, sunflower yellow, prairie brown. Their necks are tied with tiny bandanas made from old shirts or leftover cloth. Sometimes the garden giggles, not loudly but sweetly, the kind of laughter that curls from the soil and lands softly on your shoulder. It begins perhaps with a pig, not a real one, but a charming little piglet, blushing in pastel pink, made from a plastic bottle that once held tea or soda. Its body cut and curved, standing on 4 tiny legs. Its snout? A bottle cap, snug and centered. In the corner where forgotten things often go, behind the tool shed, beneath the jasmine vines, stands an old bicycle. Its wheels haven't turned in years. Its metal wears rust like memory. But now it dreams of flight. From the spine of that frame, 2 great butterfly wings stretch wide, made not from silk or feather, but from plastic bottles, clear, light, and quietly strong. In the quiet corners where roses nod and the breeze carries secrets, tiny guardians gather, not to cast spells, but to spark stories. They come robed in twilight colors, stardust silver, deep violet, midnight blue, with hats made of folded paper, and beards spun from yarn that once lined a drawer. Their eyes, though simply painted, twinkle as though they've seen every sunrise in the garden. In the earliest part of morning, when the stones are still cool and the garden hasn't yet spoken, Something gentle begins its journey. Slow, deliberate, full of wonder. Along the winding path, tiny guardians crawl. Not real snails, but they're playful cousins, made from painted plastic bottles, with shells spun from twine, bark, or curl paper. As the garden exhales and the sky turns from peach to deep indigo, a soft flicker begins to stir in the leaves. Not electricity, not flame, but something quieter, a glow born from reuse and wonder. These aren't fireflies that flit and vanish. They're the ones you make. From bottles once forgotten, now suspended in stillness and light. Here, just above the latch, a parade takes to the air. Bugs, not buzzing with sound, but humming with spirit, hover in a curved line, suspended by nearly invisible thread. Their bodies, once clear plastic bottles, now burst with painted patterns. Polka dots, sunburst stripes, spiral wings of foil and snack wrap. In a sun-dappled garden corner, just beyond the chimes and beside the basil, a band of merry watchers stands. Not tall, not fierce, but small, silly, and sprouting. These are garden elves, not from legend, but from bottle and whimsy. Each one shaped from a recycled plastic base, painted with bright grins and dotted with googly eyes that wobble gently when the breeze wanders in. Where the sea meets soil, or rather, where imagination meets a garden, a pod of whales is washed ashore. They carry no salt. They sing no songs. But their smiles ripple through the garden like waves of quiet delight. Each one is shaped from a simple plastic bottle, laid on its side and painted in ocean blue. In the tangle of green where the sun peaks in slowly, where the leaves layer like secrets and the ground feels soft underfoot, something playful stirs. Small, bright-eyed, and boldly striped, a litter of tiger cubs has taken root. But these aren't creatures of the wild. They're garden born from orange plastic bottles, curved and cut with care. In the heat of a quiet corner, where stones crack beneath the sun and the soil asks for patience, stand a tribe of cacti, tall, bold, and utterly unthirsty. These aren't born from desert seeds, but from plastic bottles stacked, painted, and transformed. Their bodies rise in segments, green in every imaginable shade. As the sun dips below the hedges and the garden hushes into shadows, a quiet glow begins to rise. Not from stars, but from mushrooms. They don't sprout from spores or soft damp earth, but from upcycled bottles, turned upside down and transformed into luminous toadstools. Each cap is painted in a wash of colors, lavender, jade, deep ocean blue, with glow-in-the-dark dots that awaken just after sunset. Sometimes the fairies don't fly. Sometimes they sit quietly, graciously, upon thrones made not from crystal or silver, but from bottles, cut low from the curved base of a plastic soda bottle. Each throne catches the light just right. The edges, scalloped and soft, are painted in lilacs, pale blues, mossy greens, or even soft golds. Photosynthesis. Not every raccoon sneaks through shadows. Some wear coats of paint and grin boldly beneath the basil. Here, perched along the edge of the garden bed, sit a troop of recycled tricksters. Born from plain water bottles once bound for bin, they now beam in teal, red, sunshine yellow, and soft lavender, a candy-colored choir of curious eyes and bushy paper tails. Each one has its own spirit. One wears a mismatched ear. Another grins wider than the rest. Their black and white masks are painted on, slightly imperfect, a reminder that joy doesn't come from symmetry, but from the marks we leave in playful motion. In the gentlest corner of the garden, where ivy leans in and dragonflies dance low, mermaids gather, not from coral or sea foam, but from soda bottles, sequins, and a little human whimsy. Each one begins with a bottle, clear, simple, almost invisible, but with a bit of care it transforms. The faces are painted in soft strokes, eyes wide with wonder, cheeks dusted in blush. Their tails, cut from foil or bits of iridescent gift wrap, shimmer with every passing breeze, catching sunlight like scattered pearls. In the garden's quiet canopy, where sunlight plays tag with branches, A jungle is quietly bloomed, not of roaring beasts, but of playful spirits made from bottles and string. There's a sloth dangling mid-snooze, his bottle belly swaying with the breeze. A monkey frozen in a mid-swing giggle, and a parrot, bright-eyed and bold, surveying the yard from his hand-painted perch. None of them breathe, but all of them feel alive. In the hushed corners of the garden, where moss softens every edge and the breeze seems to carry stories, a quiet parliament has gathered. These owls don't hoot. They don't fly, but they watch, still, gentle, and full of wonder. Their bodies are born from bottles, smooth and shaped, then dressed in layers of curled cardboard, torn paper, or scrap fabric. Feathers become textures of dusk and bark. Soft browns, faded gold, charcoal gray. Some magic doesn't come from wands or potions. It rises slowly from garden soil, rests gently in the wind, and grins from behind a painted mustache. Here, nestled between the parsley and the petunias, tiny wizards stand guard, not made from stone or spellbook, but from soda bottles and yesterday's scraps. Their robes, a patchwork of old shirts, fabric offcuts, painted paper, swirl in tie-dye splendor. In a quiet garden nook or beneath a sturdy pergola, these bottle bats dangle with pride. Their bodies, once plain plastic bottles, are now painted in joyful tones, soft pinks, sunny golds, grassy greens, with wide, silly smiles and bright, gentle eyes. Their wings,